Hiya, Sarah Pings here. In my teaching planning setup video, I said I would do a little tutorial, so I have. I've done a screencast of how to start from scratch with Microsoft Word, creating an A5 page with a table on it, inserting images into the table and extra rows and formatting the actual borders of the table, as well as showing you how to fill in coloured segments on top of an image, in this case my Spiraldex. So stay tuned. I suggest you watch it at full screen because I only zoom in when I am going into detail in the actual table and the colouring in bit. I'm on a minimised view of the page for actually setting up the table, so you'll need to see it in full screen. Okay, see you later. Bye. Okay, so I'm going to show you from scratch how to create a daily page like the one I showed you in my teaching planning video. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm in Microsoft Word. I'm going to create a blank document. You'll have to excuse my computer because it's a little bit laggy. Okay. I'm going to come along to the third tab on the ribbon and I'm going to set the page. It's automatically, for me in the UK, it's set at A4, but I have an A5 planner, so I'm going to set it at A5. I've already set my margins by default to be narrow because that way I can fit more in the page. So there we go. And the first thing we need to do is to put in a table, and we just need 2 columns. And for this one, because I'm going to before the to-do list starts, I'm going to need 4 rows, but only 2 wide. But I don't really like these dark lines. You can see this little cross here. You need to click on that. It will select the whole table. And then you go down here to borders, right down to the bottom to borders and shading. I want dotted lines, and I'm going to set my colour as this sort of deep winey colour because it shows up quite nicely on the screencast. You can see here, this is where you can take lines out or put them in. But anyway, I want to have all my lines dotted, and I'm applying it to the whole of this table. Okay, so I'm going to click into the first cell here and I'm going to put in some returns using the enter button. Bing, bang, bing, 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 bing. You can kind of get used to seeing the size. I want to have a 3x3 box in here, so that's kind of what I'm looking for. But you can see here that you've got equal margins either side. Now for this, I want to have this punched on the right hand side, so I'm going to select the whole table and I'm going to align it here to the right. It still doesn't look great, so I'm going to go here to page layout. I'm going to go to my margins. I'm going to put a custom margin in, and for my right margin, sorry, my left margin, I'm going to put 2 centimeters, and then you'll see that it scoots over. So that gives you the space for your holes to punch. And then in here, this is going to be the row for my drinking water. And this is going to be the row for my coffee cups. And this is going to be the row for my brain. So I'm going to bring it down here. So you'll see on my original sheet, let me just show you the original sheet. Here, you'll see that there are more rows on the right hand side than there are on the left. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put some more rows in. So I want to split this column into 2 rows. So I right click and I go split cell. And I want to keep 1 column, but I want to have 2 rows. And that gives you 2 lines in here. I want to do the same for this one as well, so I'm going to right click in here and go split cells and then 1 column and 2 rows. And then this one, what I've done is, I kind of did it in a long way round, but I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to split the cells, and I'm going to have one column, because you're only dealing with this one. You're not worrying about that one. You're only dealing with this one. And then I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows. Okay, so now I've got space to write stuff and space to do stuff. So in here we need to bring in the Spiraldex picture. So I'm going to go Insert, and I'm going to go Picture. And here's my image of my Spiraldex. So I'm just going to bring that in here like that. And you can see it's quite small, so I'm going to make it a bit bigger. Now you can see everything's getting stretched down here. The reason is that you haven't put your positioning, so your positioning should be tight. Okay, so now we've got our Spiraldex in here. I think that's a bit big actually. I'm going to bring it down a bit, move it across. And here I want to put in my day of the week. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to Insert, and I'm going to go to Shape. And because I love rounded corners, I'm not going for the rectangle, I'm going for the rounded corner rectangle, and I'm going to put one in here, and it automatically fills it. So I'm going to go to Shape, Fill, and No Fill, and I'm going to Shape, Outline, and I want it a bit lighter than that, but I also want it to be dashed. So I'm going to go to there, and I'm going to have it the same colour. So I'm going to have it this nice wine colour, and then in here I can now write my day of the week. I'm a big fan of a font called FFFTUSJ, so I'm going to put that in. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, and I'm going to make it left aligned. And I'm going to make it the same colour as my dotted lines. If I want to be really anal, I can then go in and put my / in so I can put my date and my month, or my month and my date, according to what planet you live on. Now, my Spiraldex here is blue, but you can actually change the colour of this without doing very much. If I click on this, I can now look at the format of the picture, and I can go to colour. And if you click here, you can see that you can change the colour very basically, but you can change the colour. So I'm going to go for, I want to stay here, but I want to keep it red accent colour, because then it goes better with my dotted lines. Okay, so now I've put that in there. The only other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my drinking water. So I'm going to go back up here and do Insert. And I'm going to find my water picture, and I'm going to insert it. Now it's quite big. It's too big for me. You can see already it's making the lines not split correctly. So I'm going to shrink it down. And then I'm going to copy it, Control-C and Control-V. And now I've got my 8 glasses of water. In here I'm going to rubber stamp something, and in here I'm going to put my brain. Oops. Not quite happy with the positioning here. Remember that as long as you have used your layout to show tight, you can move this around the column without it causing too much of an issue. You have to kind of play with it a bit. Right, so I'm going to zoom in a bit. To show you how now to enter colour into here. Click back on the Home tab, and go to insert, and we're going to insert another shape, and we're going down to lines here, and if you come along here you'll see a kind of random line shape, and this is to create a filled shape. So for example, if I want to fill this in, I click, I click, I click, I click. The more you click, the more rounded you can get. Again, it defaults to blue, so if I want to make this red and then I need to make my outline red, I filled it in. Not very neat. So you just select the whole thing if you don't like it and delete it. And let's go again. So we go insert, shape. We go to this random freeform shape and we can go click and click and click and click and click and click. And we go shape fill and shape outline, and that's kind of it really. It's much easier, and then you can print the whole thing out really neatly. Let's go back to the view. Oh, let's put a couple more in, shall we? So we're going to go insert and shape and freeform shape, and let's do one here. Just always try to go in a bit from where the line is. So you go here and here. And then we want to go, if you want a real curve on it, you've got to do more clicks to get the curve. And then you click down to here. If I want a proper curve. And now I'm going to fill this one with orange, yellowy orange, and then then I'm going to make my outline the same colour, and there you go. And the brilliant thing is that if this changes, you can just select the colour and delete it, because it's going on top of the image that you've put in there. So anyway, hope this helps. I'll show you the original one again. Maybe not. So here's the original one again. Here you can see I've put the day of the week in. I've got this in here. I've got two separate colours in. Oh yeah, and I've put here you can see all I've done. You can go insert all the way down to here, symbol, and you'll find there's a whole load of symbols. It depends what font you use, but pretty much every font that's installed on your machine has a set of symbols. Let's just wait for my lovely slow computer to go. Oh, symbols! I've got recently used symbols because I use quite a lot of symbols in what I do, but you can go through, you'll see here, you come down here and you can get geometric shapes. Play around with it. You'll see different fonts have different things available. Obviously things like wingdings, so you choose a font here. If you come down to wingdings, this is where all of your symbols are. So that's how you insert a symbol. Okay. Control Z undoes what you just did if you made a mistake. Control Y puts it back in there if you think you actually didn't make a mistake. Okay, so anyway, I hope that helps, and I'll come back to you in a minute for a bit of a chat. Bye. Hiya. I just thought I'd finish off so we've got a kind of complete thing. I'm going to show you how I stamp the rest of it. So here's my magnificent brain stamp. God, I've had this for so many years, I can't tell you. Now, I don't just stamp with one colour because, you know, it's me. So what I do is I stamp with my first colour, and then I want a bit of bright highlighting, so I go over the edge and then where the division in the brain is, obviously, and around the edge I give another colour here. And then I'm going to be stamping this on here. I'm doing this upside down, so it's a bit tricky for me, but anyway, here we go. And dingy, 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 ding. It's a beautiful brain! Now, I'm stamping on top of just like a really cheap mouse mat, but it gives you this extra cushioning that you need. And even when I was battling with my Muji stamp, which I sent to B-Dog, hi B-Dog, because I just couldn't be arsed with it. I'd much rather just set up a template to print, you know, a to-do list. Why would I bother? Just stamp, 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 stamp. And it means I can write what I want, all that stuff. But, you know, I need my brain. And then in here, I'm going to have my little coffee cup. So what I use is this little tiny coffee cup. And so let's stamp this in, because everything, of course, has to go with my spring green chameleon. So then I'm going to put one here, wibble, 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 one here, wibble, 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 one here, wibble, wibble, wibble. I don't care if I get the little cornery bits in there as well, but you know, you get the picture. So I like this because it's a combination of, you know, technology filling in the colours, plus a little bit of rubber stampy delight. What more could you want? Anyway, so there you go. Hope it helps. Bye! So I hope that helps. You should now be able to print your very own daily page with a table and make space for you to rubber stamp and be able to rubber stamp. So, you know, what can I say? I'm just all giving. If you would like to see more tutorials, Saturday tutorials, we could say, we could make it a weekly thing. You know, Adam wasn't here last week, so we didn't get Adam's chit-chat on a Sunday. I've been completely lost, frankly. What day of the week is it? I don't know. The fact that I had to go to work on a Saturday means I really don't know what day of the week it is. But I got new nail varnish. And, you know, I'm willing to show you what you would like to know. So leave a comment down there. Any tutorials you would like, anything to do with Microsoft Word, Excel, anything like that. You know, I'm an IT teacher, man. If you'd like to know about image manipulation, if you'd like to know how to use GIMP, which is the kind of open source version of Photoshop, just leave a comment down there. What would you like to know? Leave me a comment. I will do a tutorial if I can be bothered. You know, thanks for watching. Send chocolate. No, don't send chocolate. Send Coletto refills. Bye.